all that.
Back to the firmament. I was listening to episode 2 today while I was at work driving around, and you were interviewing a rabbi, and it sounded like somebody else was talking, but I couldn't tell because I wasn't looking. But somebody said, "Yeah, that's kind of crazy because my brother is a something in the Air Force or in NASA, and then they talk about once the satellites go so high that they fry from radiation, and that's pretty crazy."
Yeah, he said
really
his brother
crazy.
was a satellite tech, and talking about the Van Allen radiation belts.
My stepbrother has been in the Air Force for like 15 years, and he worked for NASA for 10 of those years. Now he's in Space Force. Like he's like high level clearance. Like I haven't talked to him in years, but I wish I could get inside his head.
Yeah, I was gonna say record an interview for us, and we'll put it on the air.
I don't want to get him in any trouble. I don't think that would work out too well.
Be cool though. No
but
worries,
yeah, he used to pilot the satellites and stuff like that too, supposedly. So hearing that dude say that about him only being able to go so far out before they're like disposed of because they become unusable, man, get out of here. Get out of here with that vacuum in space.
I mean, I'm under the impression that there very well could be some electromagnetic situation where there's what they might refer to as the thermosphere, where it gets super hot. There could be a form of radiation.
Well, does it say that each firmament is a solid structure? Like could the first one or two be electromagnetic, and then you get to a solid structure? Could it be
definitely?
I
would just say that within the containment under this first heaven, under the first structure above our heads, there are layers of different atmospheres. Wouldn't you say, Sean, that have some different properties?
This is what we try to address very briefly. Again, we had to condense a lot of information for episode 1, but we try to address the idea that the electromagnetism that's flowing through the atmosphere does its own version of gradients within what we call barometric pressure. That's why you can have different forms of barometric pressure at different altitudes. And that's why different gases will hang out at different altitudes. Like oxygen hangs out closer to the ground. Other ones will try to float up because this surging energy that's going through our atmosphere, that it seems to create its own gradients, if you will, within the atmosphere. Yeah. So we do believe, I think Wes and I do agree that the scriptures, the Hebrew, the Greek, their application of what's being described in Genesis 1 and all the verses about the firmament, it is a solid structure directly over our head. Mm-hmm. So regardless of, and I believe it's the same description of the other firmaments because they're called the same thing. They're described. In fact, even that we read a verse from the Apocalypse of Abraham where it talked about removing the 6th layer so that Abraham in this vision could see the stars in the 5th layer. So it was like he moved it back like it was a layer. So it wasn't just like air that he pushed back. It was a structure that he moved so that Abraham could see these stars below his feet. So I do think it is what it seems to describe in plain language, which is a structure like a house with multiple floors. Of course, they're just incredibly intricate, beautifully made floors. So it's to me, it would be, there is actual, and this is actually a video I saw from, I think it was Taboo Conspiracy. And he talked about how he found military documents that were describing where the satellites are being launched into. In the language that it describes the releasing of the satellites, it calls that area space. And it's literally anything above, I think it was like 75,000 feet. So that's, did I say that right? 75,000 feet? Yeah. So anything
weather
above,
balloons usually max out at 120,000 or so.
Yeah, and so they would refer that in the military language as being in space.
Outer space. Yeah.
So all they've done is they've taken these words and redefined them. The public thinks it means one thing. The government, the military understands it to mean another thing, and they don't care to tell you. They don't care to decipher it for you because they want you to think that they've got satellites in low Earth orbit and some sort of vacuum protecting the Earth or communicating your satellite TV.
How deep do you think this is going to go? Because I hear Elon Musk talking about, he calls himself the Imperator of Mars. He's talking about within the next 10 years having people on Mars and colonizing it within 10 years. And
So I would say somebody check the trucking routes from Home Depot to Devon Island,
no doubt. I'm just
because they're
saying
about
though,
to build a
like
whole bunch of barracks up there.
I'm saying, the world is going to change in the next 10 years
Yeah.
because they're going to start pushing this in a totally new direction. And then you have the AI and the electric vehicles, and the world is not going to be the same.
It's going to go all the way. You said, how deep is it going to go? I think they're going to take it as far as they can before Yeshua comes back.
Yeah. And I'll be talking about that at the end of my Investigating Babylon series.
You want to know something?
To bring it all together for Revelation. Because we think that this whole concept of them pushing the idea of a different cosmology, a different origin of who you are, where you came from, and where you live is designed to bring in a great deception, which this is, to me, would be the unveiling of Apollyon, because he's going to be the leader of the, that he's going to be the one that we're told to worship. The whole earth, wonders after him, all the nations, at least the ones that are deceived anyway. And so I think that this is all culminating to build the stage. Like you said, Mike, they put walls in your mind. So they had to destroy the natural walls that our creator made with his firmaments, the natural understanding of that you live in an enclosed system that you can test. They had to destroy that so they could build these fictional walls that you live in this other type of cosmology, which allows for an alien god to show up. And so this is what's going to happen with Apollyon, which is why kings of the earth give their power to him. The world wonders after them. He goes and persecutes the saints, those who keep the testimony of Jesus, the commandments of God, because he's given his authority from the dragon. So to me, it's a culminating idea. It's all culminating to a very, very large deception. This is all the intelligent technical designs of weapons and airplanes. All of it's leading to a huge grand stage play that, in my opinion, that the earth is going to have, some alien foreign power show up, that we've got how many 60 years now of programming for space and aliens and invasion, and that they're going to make that pay off, all that programming they've been doing. And they're going to make that, that's part of the narrative, just like they programmed a mass outbreak of a virus for last 25 years. And now they're trying to make that pay off.
Did a test run before.
Yeah. So I think that they tell you what they're going to do. That's just for the people that are actually looking to pay attention. Otherwise, if you're asleep, you just think life is just carrying on. You'll be caught up in deception. But I think it's going to go as deep as the grand deception, which is God's not real, but here come this alien god who's got this superior tech. He comes from some other galaxy or whatever. We need to listen to him. He wants to help us. He wants to save us. He wants to get rid of cancer. He wants to help us with global climate change, all that nonsense. And all this is, guys, is just a rehashing of ancient Sumerian doctrine of the gods who came and seeded the earth with mankind. And this is why Lawrence Krauss, Bill Nye, all these people have now been shifting in their evolutionary push. They've been shifting to this idea of panspermia over the last 10 years because they're prepping the idea that we are just descendants of these gods that came and put us here 100,000 years ago. And this is ancient Sumerian theology.
He coming like a thief. Right.